beginning of our story was in Owen's house and kind of outside, right? That's where the story was. And we also know that the main character of our story was Owen. There were some other characters like Mrs. Tweezers, his mom, his dad, but he was really the main character. Our problem and our solution part tell us really the main, most important parts of this story, don't they? So we're going to look at first what his problem was. Do you remember what the problem was in the story? The main problem was that Owen really loved his blanket and his parents thought he was too little for it, didn't they? So one thing they tried was the blanket fairy, and what did he do? He put it in his pants, right? And then they tried the vinegar trick, but he solved that by putting it in the sandbox. And then they told him no, and he started crying, right? How did his mom really solve the problem, though? She came up with a great idea, didn't she? She cut Owen's blanket up and then sewed it into little handkerchiefs for him to carry around everywhere he went, and then nobody had a problem with him carrying handkerchiefs because that's not what babies do, right? So that's how they fixed his problem of the blanket. All right, as we read Owen today, you're going to see that there's not ever a picture for his very first day of school. So today, later, I'm going to ask you to draw an illustration of Owen's first day. But you've got to listen really closely for clues about what you're going to put in your picture. This is the story Owen by Kevin Hinks. All right, today listen closely to the details of our story so you'll know what to draw when you draw the illustration of what you think Owen's first day of school was like. Owen had a fuzzy yellow blanket. He'd had it since he was a baby. He loved it with all of his heart. Fuzzy goes where I go, said Owen. And Fuzzy did. Upstairs, downstairs, in between, inside, outside, upside down. Fuzzy likes what I like, said Owen. And Fuzzy did. Orange juice, grape juice, chocolate milk, ice cream, peanut butter, applesauce cake. Isn't he getting a little old to be carrying that thing around? Asked Mrs. Tweezers. Haven't you heard of the blanket fairy? Owen's parents hadn't. Mrs. Tweezers filled them in. That night, Owen's parents told Owen to put Fuzzy under his pillow. In the morning, Fuzzy would be gone, but the blanket fairy would leave an absolutely wonderful, positively perfect, especially terrific big boy gift in its place. Owen stuffed Fuzzy inside his pajama pants and went to sleep. No blanket fairy, said Owen in the morning. No kidding, said Owen's mother. No wonder, said Owen's father. So what were the key details about the blanket fairy trick? They asked him to put it underneath his pillow, right? But what did Owen do? He put it in his pants so the blanket fairy couldn't get it. Fuzzy's dirty, said Owen's mother. Fuzzy's torn and ratty, said Owen's father. No, said Owen. Fuzzy's perfect. And Fuzzy was. Fuzzy played Captain Plunger with Owen. Fuzzy helped Owen become invisible. And Fuzzy was essential when it came to nail clippings and haircuts and trips to the dentist. Can't be a baby forever, said Mrs. Tweezers. Haven't you heard of the vinegar trick? Owen's parents hadn't. Mrs. Tweezers filled them in. When Owen wasn't looking, his father dipped Owen's favorite corner of Fuzzy into a jar of vinegar. Owen sniffed it and smelled it and sniffed it. He picked a new favorite corner. Then he rubbed the smelly corner all around in his sandbox, buried it in the garden, and dug it up again. Good as new, said Owen. What were the key details about the vinegar trick? Well, his dad dips one corner into vinegar, right? But what does Owen do? He just picks another favorite corner, and then he takes the smelly corner, and what does he do? He rubs it all in the sandbox and in the dirt to get that vinegar smell out and just make it dirty instead. Fuzzy wasn't very fuzzy anymore, but Owen didn't mind. He carried it and wore it and dragged it. He sucked it and hugged it and twisted it. Now Owen carries one of his not so fuzzy handkerchiefs with him. Everywhere he goes, said Owen's father.
Hooray! Hooray!
Can't bring a blanket to school, said Mrs. Tweezers. Haven't you heard of saying no? Owen's parents hadn't. Mrs. Tweezers filled them in. I have to bring Fuzzy to school, said Owen. No, said Owen's mother. No, said Owen's father. Owen buried his face in the Fuzzy. He started to cry and would not stop. So what were the key details of this saying no trick? They just told him no, right, when he said he wanted to take it to school. Did that work? Nope, that one didn't work either, right? Because what did Owen do? He just cried and cried. He was so sad. So none of those tricks have worked yet. Don't worry, said Owen's mother. It'll be all right, said Owen's father. And then suddenly Owen's mother said, I have an idea. It was an absolutely wonderful, positively perfect, especially terrific idea. First she snipped, and then she sewed, and then she snipped again and sewed some more. And Miss Tweezers doesn't say a thing. Why do you think that Mrs. Tweezers didn't have any more tricks? Look what's in her hand. Looks kind of like a handkerchief, doesn't it? I wonder if maybe she doesn't care if he carries a handkerchief as much as a blanket. Maybe she realized that her tricks really didn't work. There are a bunch of different reasons we don't really know because the author doesn't tell us. One word from our book was positively. What word? Positively. Positively means there is no doubt about it that something is very true. When you ask me whether we're in school, I might say positively. In our book, Owen's parents promised him that the blanket fairy would bring him a positively perfect big boy gift. That means that there was no doubt about it. It would be a perfect gift for a big boy. Positively is something that's very true. There's no doubt about it. You can use that word too. You might say, I am positively excited about getting to go outside today. Let's say that word one more time. Say it with me. Positively. Another word from our book today is absolutely. What's the word? Absolutely. Absolutely means the same thing as positively. It means that there is no doubt about it. It's very true. If someone asks me if I'm a teacher, I might say, absolutely. In our book, it says that his mother's idea was absolutely wonderful. Absolutely means the same thing as positively. It means that there's no doubt about it and that it's very true. You could use that word too. Like you might say, today is an absolutely rainy day. Let's say that word together one more time. What's the word? Absolutely. Great job. All right, we know that sentences have two parts. The subject tells who the sentence is mostly about, and the predicate tells information about the subject or what the subject did. So we're going to see that sometimes there can be two subjects in one sentence. I'm going to read you a sentence part, and I want you to decide if it's a subject or if it's a predicate part, okay? Now, the first one, okay, Owen's mom. Is that a subject or a predicate? It's a subject, so I'm going to put it up here on my subject line, okay? What about told Owen to put Fuzzy under his pillow? Is that a person, an animal, or a thing? No. It tells us information about a subject, so we know that's our predicate, so I'm going to put it over here on my predicate line. This is the word and. You know that's a sight word. We don't really know where that goes yet, do we? Because it's not really a subject or a predicate, so I'm just going to leave it down here. This says Owen's dad. Well, I know that that's a subject too, okay? Now look, I've got two parts of a subject. I've got two subjects. I've got Owen's mom and I have Owen's dad. If we have two parts, we need to link them together. So I'm going to read the parts again. Owen's mom, Owen's dad. Okay? What do you think I could use to link these two subjects together to make just one subject? We can use this magic word, and. That's a sight word that you know, and. When I put and in between it, now we just have one subject with two subject parts, right? Owen's mom and Owen's dad. Now we have a subject with two parts. That's awesome, isn't it? So now our subject is Owen's mom and Owen's dad, and our predicate is still told Owen to put Fuzzy under his pillow. Okay, great job. And we've also been working on questions, right? So questions always start with a question word and they end with a question mark. So instead of a period, they have a question mark, and instead of a subject at the beginning, there will be a question word. So this question word today is where, okay? We've used what and why before, and today we're going to use where. This sentence says, where is Owen's blanket? Let's think of other things that Owen might have. Like he might have a yo-yo, a pail, he might have a ball, he might have a toy boat, and he might have a toy car, right? So now that we know other things that Owen may have, we can change our question from where is Owen's blanket to where is Owen's yo-yo? Read it with me. Where is Owen's yo-yo? There's my question mark. All right, let's try another one. Let's try pail. I'm going to shrink this down a little bit so it fits. There we go. All right. Where is Owen's pail? There's my question mark again, and there's my question word. That's how I know this is a question. All right, let's do the next one. Now what is my sentence going to say? Read it with me. Where is Owen's ball? And there's my question mark. Here's my next one. All right, what do you think this one's going to say? Where is Owen's boat? Good job. And then my last one. Where is Owen's car? I need to make that a little bigger, don't I, so we can read it. Let's read it again. Where is Owen's car? So now we've made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different questions. All right, today you're going to go to Seesaw, and you are going to draw me a picture of what you think Owen's first day of school looks like. To do that, you're really going to have to think about what are some details in our story that's going to let me know how Owen's first day of school went. So I think back and I think about him crying because he wanted to take his blanket to school, and his mom fixed the problem by doing what? Cutting it into little handkerchiefs. So what do you think he probably carried with him on the first day of school? Probably one of those little yellow handkerchiefs. So you know that your illustration needs to have Owen in it, and it probably needs to have one of the little yellow handkerchiefs that he would have carried with him. Make sure that your illustration makes sense and that it has a lot of detail, so I know exactly what your illustration is without you having to tell me.